I'm Luciana Fragali with Design Solutions.
I'm Juliana with Builcore.
And I'm Larah with Design Solutions.
6 months ago, Ju and I had a meeting at the job site, and I decided to record a video letting you all know that this project had to be done in 6 months. So Builcore had 6 months to basically gut and rebuild this unit. And then Design Solutions had the Christmas as a deadline to deliver the project to the clients. So here we are, is December 17th today? 18th. Yes. And we're done. So I wanted to, first of all, share that this was a huge challenge for us. When we spoke about it, it sounded completely impossible, but we decided to take the challenge. And I can say today that we are delivering the project on the date that we promised to the client. And I can say that the process was, in my opinion, absolutely smooth. But I just wanted to ask you, which is a conversation that we haven't had yet, what were the most difficult parts of the project that you thought, this is not gonna happen? I'm not gonna be able to meet the deadline.
Well, I think time was always...
Hi, come on, 6 months.
No, definitely timing was very challenging for us. We have to double manpower, a lot of coordination with the design team, the PMs on site. I
have a personal opinion that the reason we're able to reach this goal was because we had, first of all, the clients. They knew exactly what they wanted. There was not a lot of back and forth, right? They made decisions and there were final decisions. Of course, we made few additions and changes throughout the process, but the reason it was so smooth was because we were in very good communication. Correct. So our communication flows well usually, but I think here it was even better because we knew we're very serious about dates, right? We're very concerned about not being able to deliver something on time. So nowadays, with all the experience we have, we will not commit to something that we knew we couldn't do. But you and I, first of all, before even Larah knew about the project, you and I knew that there was a way to do it. We sat down, we talked about it.
All the changes and additional work, we still were able to finish on our target.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the schedule never changed here.
Yes, it didn't.
And so this is pretty amazing. I think the teamwork that we have with the design team, the PM and the construction, it's flowing very well, and I think I think
the building also helped a lot.
Oh wow,
yes,
right?
They are amazing.
This is Four Seasons Brickell, and I think that the building, even though they respect all the holidays, even though their working hours are typical 9 to 4, but I can, imagine the many problems we had in other buildings that we didn't have here. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. And because I have my spiritual side very strong, I think that the energy, among all of us involved, including the building, including the association, the valet guys, the receiving lady who is amazing, and obviously, Builcore had to double the amount of people working in the job site. We came in with our vendors, and it was also very smooth, right? What kind of problems did we have after Builcore left?
We had great vendors by our side. Problems in construction, they're always going to happen, right? I think it's more the way that you respond to them. And it was just a matter of us, calling like, hey, what happened with this piece of whatever? Like, it's not really how I drew. Oh my God, no, let me take the little piece. I'll be there like tomorrow, he's gonna install, and it's perfect.
The communication was great.
So,
I think that one thing that made a huge difference, having 4 different new work companies in the same project. And anyone would think, oh, that's crazy, you're dealing with 4 different people instead of dealing with one company that comes and does it all. But a lot of the problems we have in the end of projects is related to the millwork.
Yeah, because it's time. You can't do it all.
And also the millworkers, the companies don't have a lot of people working for them.
Exactly.
So if you get 4 different companies, depending on the level of perfection that you need, if one defaults, then you still have the other 3. So the company, if there is one company doing the entire millwork, they're not going to be so attentive to details because the scope of work is too big.
Yeah, and probably not fast enough, which in our case here was time, right?
It was crucial.
Exactly.
Yeah. We used to have our own vendor for everything related to marble and porcelain.
Oh, yes.
And this time we did it with Builcore. Yes. So that was incredible because, you know, most of the time we're trying to manage subcontractors that don't necessarily have to be managed by Builcore for many different reasons. And what I realized is that, especially when it comes to marble work, any kind of marble work, it can be, or porcelain, it can be countertops, backsplashes, pieces of furniture that we make, that we design and make. I think that your guy is the best in Miami. I have to admit that, and I love him too. So I think one thing was incredible this time, that the permit process was extremely smooth. So we applied with the plans. When we applied, we were not 100% sure what kind of materials we're gonna use because we had to apply fast, right? So we did the project package. We had a number in mind. We knew the apartment was going to be gutted because it was a foreclosure when the client purchased. So the apartment needed to be gutted. So we knew that what kind of floor plan we were going to do, all the architectural changes that we were offering to the client. And then we did a budget study with allowances, which is completely normal. We know the prices of everything. And then Ju took over
the full set in 3 weeks, and then we applied for the permit. Even though the full scope was not well defined because it was decision to be made.
Exactly.
But
and then after we did, we set on stone with absolutely every single material. Then you had to do a few revisions with the city.
After we got the permit approved, we started the project.
Yeah.
And then we did a revision before rough inspections.
Yeah, so the revision can take a little bit faster sometimes than the process that we take to specify the entire project. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, and
we save time, I think, a lot because we don't need to specify the entire project to apply for permits. So we specify, but then, you know, we're not set on stone with the materials yet.
The type of tile, you know, I don't even think you'd say the size of the tile, right? It's porcelain tile or wood, and then we can be crazy and creative while the plans are in the revision, and we take all the time in the world, or not that much.
Not all the time in the world.
Exactly.
And of course, then the final scope of work was decided at the same time as the permits were approved, and then Builcore re-quote the project, addressing the changes or, you know, addressing the type of installations. I think that you save so much time when you work like that.
Because before, you used to do the full order pattern to get to us. When it gets to us, to pricing or to prices, all the vendors, the whole process was taking like 9 months because you need a lot of time to do all the details, elevation. So I think we create this trust and, you know, we bring this idea to the client.